get my 6. I just distinctly heard a tree knock, and there's something walking around behind me here. So welcome back, guys, to another video here at Homesteading Off the Grid and whatever the hell this channel's about. Today, it's about some wisdom and an excuse. Yes, you know I don't like to make them, so let's get that out of the way first. If you notice my new drip, this is what my 10-year-old kid calls clothing or something, drip. Bling is jewelry and these other terms, but I guess drip is like clothing articles. It's because we went to the post office today, checked our box. I'm going to give thanks where thanks is due, where I can, and where I can't, I'm going to make an excuse. But it's an interesting excuse. So Mike Costello sent this shirt. It says the hunt is on. Then it says for blood donors. Mike gave me a nice letter with the shirt, and he mentioned that he's been watching the channel for a while. He got this shirt when he went to give blood, and I guess it reminded him of me, and so he sent it here. Thanks, Mike. Not just for the shirt, but also for giving blood and for reminding me that I need to do that, start doing that again. Once upon a time, I gave blood. Anytime the blood mobiles would come around, if I saw one, I would stop and give blood, because that takes like no time. It's like 20 minutes, and it could save someone's life. I got out of the habit of doing it when I started going back and forth overseas, because you know you can't give blood if you've been in like a third world country until you've been back for more than 90 days and all kinds of stuff. And so but I've been back for like 6 years, almost 5 years, so I need to start giving blood again. So thanks for the reminder, Mike. Okay, the hat, isn't this a beautiful hat? Look at that. It's got potentially Bigfoot Sasquatch there on the night of a full moon. Now, I cannot thank the person that sent me this hat right now. If you sent me this hat, please comment, and don't be a vertically challenged individual that lives under a bridge and claim that you sent it if you didn't, okay? Crazy gnats everywhere. Here's the deal. This is why I can't thank the person that sent the hat. When we went to the post office, we got this stuff, and we got some other stuff. Got some letters and something. I don't talk about what you guys send us until I get home, and I can do it in the privacy of my own property. I don't like to make videos in public because you can't control the entire, environment. If you're out there recording and somebody wants to video bomb you, or somebody's beside you, and we've had this happen at UVA football games. I'm trying to record a football game for YouTube, and some drunk college kids like F this, F that. I'm like, so I just don't do it. Well, my beautiful bride, Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, she does. So she's like making videos in the post office as she's opening up this stuff. She's recording. Hey, now, come on now, don't judge. I had a hat on. I just got a new haircut and I really like it. So anyway, she's recording and she's opening up the package. She's saying, oh, so-and-so sent this, thank you. Well, she's doing that with the hat. She just opened it, took it out of the package, and some guy just comes up to us in the post office. He's wearing a backpack and he goes, you guys want to buy some squid? And so Dearly starts freaking out and panicking, and she stops recording and she just starts throwing stuff in the bag and the trash can. So the mailer that this was sent in, the package, ended up in the trash can. I'm like, nah, we don't need any squid. He goes, but I got fresh squid. It's fresh. It's good squid. And I'm like, well, appreciate that. And Dearly's like, we still have squid at home in the freezer, which is true. Man, I love calamari and I love squid adobo. We eat a ton of seafood around here. So he's like, nah, but your squid's not as good as this. And I'm like, man, we're getting ready to go walk for like 2 hours, because we did that today. We went into town and walked for like an hour and a half, had a nice lunch, walked for another 30 minutes after that. I said, the squid will spoil out there in the heat, you know, all that time. You know, it's going to get super hot sitting in the truck waiting on me to get done with this walk. He's like, nah, man, this squid, it won't spoil in the sun. This is good squid. And I'm like, nah, no thanks. So we walked out of there. And it occurred to me sometime later while I was on that walk that guy might not have been trying to sell me squid. He might have been trying to sell me something else. But I don't want to jump to conclusions because there's this odd thing that we do here with seafood here in my community. We pass it on. So it might have been squid. And you're like, what's that mean, Crazy Lake? What's that mean you pass on seafood? Well, I'm just going to share a story with you here in a minute or less, and we'll get back to this stuff. This summer, one day, I was in town. I went out for lunch. This is when my beautiful bride and our son was over in the Philippines. And I would make myself go into town every couple days to get around people. I didn't want to like commit to getting together with like somebody that actually knew, because I was working on this book, The Lunatic, which we still have in stock, by the way. And yes, some of you have been asking about, you know, the anthology, Bigfoot Sasquatch Files, anthology one, volumes 1 through 10 combined. And Stephanie Kramer, shout out to you. I'm not going to show your address here, show your name. We got your letter. A lot of people have messaged about this. Stephanie sent us a check to buy Anthology 1 when it's back in stock, which will be the 1st of September, and talked about watching the show here, and we appreciate you for that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're writing a book, you want every thought in your head, every idea to be yours and to be, you don't want to sit around with a buddy and talk about the book you're writing, because if your buddy makes one comment on how a situation could go differently, you will start second guessing everything you've written. You will rewrite everything you've written, and your story might end completely differently because of one thing someone else said. There's a reason writers don't let people read their books until they're finished. And me personally, I've gotten to the point to where I avoid people, like real conversation type stuff, if I'm in the middle of a novel. So every few days I would go into town, just be around other human beings, because we all need that sometimes. But it's a good reminder as to why it's only sometimes when you do it, you know what I mean? So I went to this place and I ordered these fish tacos. It's a Mexican restaurant that we really like. We get good food there and good service, and it's a good price. So they bring me these 3 huge fish tacos. I'm like, there's no way I can eat these. I'm only going to be able to eat like 2 at the most. So anyway, I'm sitting outside because it was like 11:30 in the morning. It wasn't too hot yet to where I had to be inside. And I see this guy coming down the street, and he's got a backpack on and some stuff dangling from the backpack. He comes by and I say, hey. And he stops and he looks at me and I said, would you like a shrimp taco? They were shrimp tacos. I might have said fish tacos earlier, but they're shrimp tacos. And he looks at me and he says, dude, I'm not a bum. I'm going down here to the train station to take a train ride. I'm a traveler. I said, well, I didn't mean to offend you. I don't think you look like a bum. You know, I'm not offering you a shrimp taco because you strike me as a degenerate or a derelict of some sort. Or maybe somebody that goes around in post offices trying to sell squid from your backpack. I'm offering you a shrimp taco because they gave me 3 and I know I'll only eat 2. And he was like, well, why don't you just take the other one home? And I said, you know why. And he goes, man, I don't know nothing about you. I'm just trying to go down here and catch a train. And I said, sir, you know a lot about me because you know a lot about yourself. And we're so similar because we're both human beings. This is part of the human condition. Here is the human condition in regard to leftovers. Okay? So it costs money and it tastes good. So if I have any extra, yeah, I'm going to take it home to eat later, right? I paid for that. But you take it home and then that night you're starting to get hungry and you're like, oh, there's that awesome shrimp taco. But I'm not really in the mood for it because I just ate 2 of them like 4 hours earlier. Well, by the time you're in the mood for this shrimp taco. I got fish tacos on the brain right now. I don't know why. But by the time you get back around to wanting to enjoy that delicious shrimp taco, it's all soggy and nasty because it's been in the refrigerator for 2 days, so you throw it away. And I told this to this gentleman who was not a derelict or a degenerate or a bum or a post office squid salesman with a very suspicious looking backpack. He goes, dude, wow, you do know me. I'm just like that. So I walked over with my platter of delicious shrimp tacos and said, here, take your pick. I haven't touched any of them. And so he reaches out for the one closest to him, and he looks at me suspiciously. And I keep my best poker face on because I'm not playing poker. There's no reason for me to smirk or give some sort of tail. I have not touched these shrimp tacos. So then he puts his hand out, the one closest to me, and my face doesn't budge. It doesn't budge. So then he sticks his hand over the one in the middle. And again, my face doesn't flinch. So he takes the one in the middle. And while not taking his eyes off of me in the event I may be a threat, he bites into that shrimp taco. Man, he was like he almost forgot he had a train to catch. So that made me excited. So I went over and sat down and I tried my shrimp taco as well. OMG. It's a glorious memory. He said, wow, that's delicious. Thank you. Do you know where I might get some coffee? And I said, no, weary traveler, I do not. Enjoy your shrimp taco, and I hope that you have a safe train ride to your destination. And he said, thanks, dude, and he left. So that stuff just kind of happens around here. So that's why you got to understand, I mean, you know, with this whole passing seafood on thing or whatever that dude had in his backpack. So that's why I cannot thank you right now. But if you'll comment, you know, on this video and let me know it's you, I will thank you later. All right. Shout out to Katie Poland. Katie Poland. Sitting around waiting on your Isle of Capri. Here it is. Look at that. Katie already signed it, autographed it, mailed it. And it was in our post office box because we were short 27 cents. Gotta love the post office. 27 cents. Gonna make this girl wait 2 more weeks for her book. Okay, we're gonna send it out to you again tomorrow, Katie. Sorry about that. 27 cents. But you don't mind paying supervisors $30 an hour to sit around and scroll and text on their phone and spend 2 hours at the Wood Grill buffet every lunch when they go to lunch. Whatever. 27 cents. All right, what else we got here? Okay, Stephanie, your anthology one is going to be the first one we send out of here. Got a wonderful note from Hollister North in New York, who lived in Sweden as a child and confirmed what I was talking about what do they call that? It's insanity is what it is. That's why I can't even remember the name. But it's a social mindset where nobody's supposed to be special really at anything or exceptional or go out and try to be great. They want everybody to be the same. He said it's true. Wrote me a nice letter. He grew up over there in Sweden after he had some family die. He said, that's true. It's like you live in a box. Whatever I am doing and feel a joy about life. Now, he's happy because he's got his American mindset of, but he's talking about it just felt like all being the same. It's about no one claiming to be better than anyone, having no ambition to be great and all these things. But he says he derives enjoyment out of doing his best, and I think everybody has the right to. Any society that wants to tell me not to derive enjoyment out of doing my best, you know what? About 3 or 4 days ago, I ran for 45 minutes nonstop. That's the longest I've run without stopping for more than 10 years. It's something like 12 years. I think 2007. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 14 years. I ran farther and longer than I've run in 14 years, you better believe I derived enjoyment out of that. And any society that would tell me I shouldn't feel good about having done something like that is a society that I would not live in. All right. Man, I got to save that for last. Okay. Ann Hodges, my neighbor down in Lynchburg, Virginia, got both your letters. Thank you. Read them both. Ann shared with me similar situation when she lived in Madison, Virginia, not far from here. She loved to really take care of her place and make everything look beautiful. And she had some neighbors that were always nosy and nagging and like, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. Well, it was just because they're lazy and they didn't want to take care of their place. Their place looked like a cyclone hit it, and her place looked like a resort. And so, you know, they did everything they could do to deter her from making her place look nice, because the better her place looked, the worse theirs looked, you know. So she could relate to that. She said it's like a country, local people or country thing or whatever. But she said something that I'm going to finish the video up with here towards the end in her other letter. But I want to read this video first. Not video. I want to read this letter from Phil Fowler in Norton Shores, Michigan. Phil, I got your letter. Phil has struggled. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase. Phil has struggled with a lot of health problems over the years. He's had cancer a couple times. He's had back issues, cancer in his vertebrae. He's had to have them removed. He's been in hospitals, rehabs for like months, 6 months total. His wife is a at-home caregiver, so he's really partnered up there with that's like God's plan, really. I mean, to have so many health issues and then it turns out your partner's like a home caregiver, it's almost like synchronicity, or it was meant to be. But he wrote something here at the end it touched me. He says, thanking me for all my videos, and how he talks about how they've helped him get through very difficult times. You know, Phil and everybody, you don't know. Every night I lay there just before I go to sleep and I'm like, why do I make those stupid YouTube videos? I tell millions of strangers monthly stuff about my personal life, stuff that's nobody's business. Half of them think I'm crazy. I mean, if you go by the comments, I'm like, is it worth it? Why do I do this? Should I stop? This is kind of stupid. But then when you get a letter like this, man, if there's somebody out there that's hurting and in pain and suffering, two things. If they're deriving pleasure from watching my videos, that makes it worth doing. Whether I'm burnt out, so many days I don't want to do it. You know, I do this every day, and it doesn't take a lot of time, 20 to 30 minutes. But when you do something every day, like in 1 year, in the past year, I may have not made a video 10 times. So that's 300 and that's a lot of videos. I don't know how many days in a year. But anyway, I want to point out number two about pain and suffering in one of the letters that Ann Hodges, neighbor down in Lynchburg, sent me. It's an old saying, and I haven't heard it for a while, so I just want to repeat it here. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. Now, I'm not talking about Phil. Trust me, I know, buddy. You've got those health issues. You have an operation. You're suffering through. That's not your choice. That's not what I'm talking about. I've been there, brother. Here's what it is. For instance, we've talked a lot about family on this channel, about estrangement, traumatic experiences. All these things are painful when they happen. But once they happen, and once a new dawn has risen, the sun has come up the next day, if we suffer because of the pain we experience from the tragic experience, that's our choice. And I made a video about this years ago, about how, you know, my beautiful bride, one of the reasons in which, I can't count all the ways in which I love her. I can't count all the reasons why I do. But one of those big reasons was when we were down and out in the Philippines, and I was always boo-hooing and crying about my other children that were having no contact with me, even though I was contacting them daily for years, and then weekly, then monthly, and then never any sort of response back. I chose to suffer from that. And my wife came out one night. It was storming on the beach, and I was crying in the sand, blah, blah, blah. And she said, I don't want to take anything away from what you've experienced, but it's so sad that you spend so much time focusing on what you lost that you can't appreciate what you've gained. And she left, and lightning was crashing. And what she said to me really hit home, and it hit my heart. And I thought, I've got this beautiful woman. We've got this beautiful little baby boy. He was like 18 months old at the time. He's 10 now. He might have been 2. And I was like, why am I focusing on what was and what is not and what is out of my control? Why don't I focus on what is and what can be, what I have and what I'm able to have a say in? And I did. I just, like that, turned it around. And our down and out days in the Philippines became wonderfully glorious, enjoyable days in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, here on our beautiful homestead. And anywhere else we go, as long as we're together. Thanks for being here for another video, and I hope you got something out of it. See you for more next time.